Hello, beautiful souls. So today I'm going to show you about how I use muscle testing. So I'll start with using the body. So when you're doing the body, the way that you're going to do this, again, I like to sink into my heart space, and I will do the same process I do with the pendulum. Imagine that I'm coming from here, from my heart space, and I always say that I'm tapping into my soul, allowing my soul to speak through my body and whatever I resonate with as yes, no, and I'll show you how that works. But I bring in the divine energy. I'll also breathe in prana life force with my breath in, hold it for 3, and then every breath out, I release anything that's unserving to my highest good, releasing any of that dense energy that I may have trapped, okay? So using that same process. And so what you're going to do is whenever you're doing muscle testing is you're just like if you were using any type of tool to tap in, you're going to find out what a yes and a no is. So what you're going to see is when you're setting this up, always ask you like truthful questions about yourself. And so what it will do is if you'll stand up, and if you practice this with me, and you'll get a feel for it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the first thing that I like to do is, for me, I'll say things like, and this is kind of like me calibrating myself, if you will, right? So if I'm going to calibrate myself, what you imagine you're doing is like, okay, let's say, am I female? And so what I'll do is ask that question. And I'll also I close my eyes. This is just something that I like to do. And I also put my hands on my heart space so that I can kind of feel how my body's going to move. So if I'm doing this and I'm going to say like, so am I a female? And then you're going to sway a certain way. See how I'll move forward? And then I'll say like, am I the opposite? So am I a male? And I sway to the back, right? And so I ask another question. Let's say that I'm going to ask, is my name Heather? I went to the front, right? Okay, another question is my name Sam? Okay, so same kind of thing. And so then you'll start asking actual questions. So once you get a feel of what a yes and a no is, and you'll use that as your tool. So every time that, for me, when I move forward, it's a yes. When I move back, it's a no. It may be different for you. You'll have to do that for yourself and kind of see where you go with that. And then you just start asking your questions. So if you're like, okay, should I go meet up with a friend later? And yes or no. Is it going to be for my greatest good? Yes or no. And then you can even ask questions like, is this product good for me? Now, this is getting into other really cool testing. I don't have anything right in front of me, but like if you wanted to see if a certain product is good for you, certain foods are good for you, you can actually do this in the grocery store. So this is not just asking your soul about whether something's right or wrong for you. Should you make this move? Should you not? Should you quit? Should you not? Should you, go embark on this romantic relationship or not? You also can find out about food. You can find out about medication. So like if you're taking a vitamin, you want to know if it's pure or not. You are a vibration, you are energy, and so is everything else around you. So if you wanted to say, okay, is this honey? I even do this when I go look for honey. Because I always try to buy local honey. And so sometimes they'll put stuff in it. So I will actually grab the honey and I'll say, is this honey pure? And it'll tell me yes or no. And if I ever go back, I'm like, they must have put sugar in there. They must have done something to it to, make it thicker or something. And so my body will tell me whether it's good or not. I'll also do that with food. If I'm starting to feel yucky, I will actually go through my food and go, okay, was it this that made me feel this way? And so I'll go through all the things that I've just put in my body, and it'll tell me, is it this or that? You also can even do this with, as far as like, if you just started like vitamin D supplement, for instance, and is it a good product? Is it pure? And how many should you take? You can literally ask, should I take 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever, and your body will tell you what it needs. Now, again, I am not a medical provider. I'm not telling you what you can and cannot do, but this is another way for you to actually start tapping into your own body and ask these questions. So I do nutrition response testing as well. So this is something that I actually use whenever you want to know about your body. And so when I do muscle testing, you'll see a lot of it done like this. So if I were to work on you, and test all the organs in the body for any stressors, I will do the same thing. But you can also ask your body, is there an organ, and you can start like in the head, is there anything in the head that needs attention, and you say yes or no. Is there something in the upper torso and the lower torso? You can go through that too. So that's just really cool things that we can do on our own, because we should empower ourselves. So again, this is a great another tool that you can use, but you can use this for any question that you have. If you want to ask things like past life stuff, if you want to ask about childhood trauma, if you want to find out about things that's happened in your childhood, like were you ever abducted, were you ever gifted and got scared to use your gifts. If you want to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty without having your own session, for instance, then this is another way to kind of tap in. And to me, a lot of times I will trust my body before I'll use an outside source like the pendulums and the dowsing rods, mainly because I can trust my body. And that's one of the reasons I really focus in on my body and close my eyes and truly tap into my heart space and clear my mind, so that when I do ask those questions, I can get really good answers. And so I think this is a really cool tool for you to use. So use this in any way. Another thing that you can do, if you are in the grocery store and you're like, oh gosh, I'm a little embarrassed to sit here and sway back and forth, which I do it. I don't care. I think it's a really cool thing. I hope that when I did this in the grocery store, people will come and say, what are you doing? Because then I can teach them, right? So I don't mind doing it. I love being the oddball. But if you're trying to do this and you want to make sure that, you're like, oh crap, I need to test this, and this, you can set the intention for anything that you want, but you also can use your fingers. So if you take your fingers and kind of do this, so you're kind of making like the infinity sign in a sense, okay? And so what you can do with this, and again, ask yourself. I've seen other people do, and they get different answers from me. So I'm just going to tell you, ask yourself, and that will be what you're going to do. So for me, I'll say, again, calibrating. If you want to calibrate in the car before you go into the grocery store, setting the intention that I'm going to go in the grocery store, I'm going to find out, like, is this organic or not? Like, you can find out this information. I do it all the time. So if you want to know, like, is this pure or not? So then I'll say, okay, again, is my name Heather? So mine locks. So my name is Heather is a lock. So I would assume that's a yes. Is my name Susan? So mine breaks really easily on a no. Okay. So my yes is a lock. My no is an unlock. So then I can ask a couple other questions. Am I female? So that was a hard yes. Am I male? That was a break. I am 12. Okay. Clearly not 12. So you can tell, and you want to get a good, what a yes and a good no is, so that you can break it and open. Okay. So you want to know what it feels like to be a good, strong yes and a not so good. Okay. So once you do that, you can do the exact same thing that I showed you with the body movements. Okay. But this is just a way, if you want to do a quick check, again, you can do that with, your medicine, like if you got some vitamins. I even do this before I order online. I don't know if you know this, but again, everything's energetic. And if I can do energy work through a cell phone around the country, you can also tap in to buying products. So if I want to know if it's good or not, I will ask, is this good or is it not? Okay. So that's something that you can do. You can also find out how many you're going to take before you even get it. You can set the intention. And so if you're like, crap, if I have to take 5, I might as well go ahead and order, 2 bottles instead of 1. Whatever. It is bountiful, like the things that you can do. It is beyond crazy how this works. But we are energy, and everything around us is energy, so that we can interact. And so that yes is kind of like a high vibration. It's kind of an attraction. So it puts you in that forward motion, repelling, I think, of a no. So the no will be falling away. So it's a low vibration. It's not a vibrational match for me. So hope that works. Hope that helps. But it's definitely a tool that I use every single day. And another thing I love to do is when I'm in the shower. Holy moly, because the water, you set the intention. I always say, give me my memory back, because memory is held in the water because it has consciousness. So I will say, I want my memory back while I'm also using the water, and I will ask questions in the water. Holy moly, the things that just pop up as I'm asking these questions, moving back and forth, getting yes and no. And then as I'm asking, because I am like really focused in, like showers are more like meditations, and so when you're in that meditation state, oh my gosh, you'll start hearing things come through. So that's a great way to kind of tune into your body and start listening to those messages and see where it goes. So anyways, hope that helps. Again, take it or leave it, but it's something that I've tried and it works for me. So hopefully it will work for you, and I hope this will just give you other tools in your tool belt for you to utilize your path on this crazy journey of awakening. I love you so much.